This is the infamous story of Smelly Guy, a series of unfortunate events that happened in my hoe phase or slut phase, whatever you want to call it. I met Smelly Guy on OkCupid 5 years ago. He was nerdy, he was cute, he gave me 5 minutes of his time. Evidently, that was all I needed to give him everything he wanted. We messaged all of 4 times before he sent me a picture of his dick. A move I used to be way too familiar with and accepting of. You could send it, I will not block you, I will sext you, and wonder why I had such a hard time finding a committed and serious relationship. What struck me about this dick pic was that it was spectacular. It was the first dick that I audibly gasped when I saw it. It was the most photogenic penis I've ever seen in my life. After sending me this masterpiece via text, and after we both stopped touching ourselves, I naturally asked him out on a date. I needed to see this masterpiece in person. We planned to meet the following Saturday. 3 long days after the initial dick pic and 4 sexting sessions later, we met. I arrived early in his area, and he invited me to go straight to his apartment, which was coincidentally 2 blocks away from where we were meeting. This is obviously a dumb move. I've watched so much true crime. What was I thinking? But it was cold and it's impossible to look sexy in a parka, so I was wearing way less clothes than I should have. It's surprisingly how fast wind chill can make me throw caution to the wind. So my young, naive self rationalized poorly and rang his doorbell. He buzzed me in, I opened the door, and he greeted me at the bottom of the stairs from his basement apartment. He watched me walk down the stairs, and we hugged, and we immediately started making out and taking off our clothes. His dick was spectacular. So we did the deed. There was some conversation afterwards, and I left on my merry way. Little did I know he was going to ghost me a few days later. I thought he was gone from my life until about a year later he texted me to say hello and check in. I was a hopeless romantic at the time and I was needy and horny, so I texted him. A text like this did not go ignored by past Abby. We chatted for a bit, then he did it again. He sent a photo of his spectacular piece. I quickly reprioritized my entire evening, and before I knew it, I was driving to his apartment yet again. That night, I walked down to his apartment. A smell tickled my nostril. Then he opened the door, and it hit me. A tidal wave of stank ran up my nostrils and almost knocked me to my knees. You see, in the year since I've seen this man, he had adopted 2 cats and cleaned the kitty litter 0 times. I could barely breathe and I didn't know what to say. Was I about to teach this man a lesson of hygiene and cleanliness? Should I run out screaming? Was the smell causing permanent damage to my sensory organs? Lightheaded and trying to hold my breath, the thought of his beautiful dick and the overpowering ammonia circulating lowered my inhibitions like no drug has ever done before. My brain left my body and watched my drunk on cat shit smell self strip naked and climb onto his dick. After we were both done, I made an excuse to leave. I put my clothes on, now covered in cat hair, and escaped. As I walked up the stairs and went outside, I felt the oxygen fill my lungs again. As I walked to my car, I felt my body getting stronger with every breath I took. The neurons in my brain started to fire again at a healthier rate. Now I was back to reality, no longer cat shit drunk. I called my best friend and immediately was like, I am disgusted with myself. In which he responded, what's new? Welcome to House of Stone, the podcast where everyone has a story and we get in the nitty gritty of it all. Today's guest, we have Lucy Gervais.
Hello, how are you, Abby?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you.
I have a little bit of an intro for you, just so people know who you are.
They already know who I am.
They already know? Okay.
Hello.
I mean, they don't need an intro.
But if you insist on introducing me.
I mean, I feel like I want to bring all of your accomplishments up because there's so many of them. The list is long and impressive. You've been on Montreal Sketchfest, Fringe Festival, Zoo Fest, Off JFL, and you did a Just for Laughs recording this summer, and the list goes on. Your one-person show, Lucy Gervais Has a Guardian Angel, was nominated for Outstanding Comedy in English, sponsored by the Just for Laughs Festival, or Just for Laughs, this past summer at Fringe. And if you want to listen to Lucy, listeners, they have an album recorded. You can find it on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon Music, and it's called Negative Spaces. So listen and download.
That's a typo. It's negative space.
Space.
Do you know how many times I edited that bio?
Oh, really?
Like 50 times.
Yes.
And then I'm like, I got it. I finally, no typos, no errors. And then I submit it to all the things.
And then
And then I was like, negative spaces. I was like, that little S makes a difference. It does.
I know.
Just one space.
I mean, I'm terrible at editing my own stuff, so I usually get Fernando to do it because he'll catch my stupidness. You gotta get a second eye on.
You gotta get You need an editor for everything.
Well, how did you come up with that title, Negative Space?
Well, I like it because I had a million titles that I was flipping through.
Yeah.
And I had an idea of what I wanted the art to look like.
Which is amazing, by the way.
Thank
so,
you.
So cool. Who did the art for you?
They are on Instagram, Tulsa Thrift Store Queen. And they do collage work. So they actually take like a little scalpel. They have like hundreds and hundreds of pages of old magazines, and they individually cut all these little images and then splice them together on a background. And they're actually a sister of a friend of mine who lives here in Montreal, who's also from Tulsa. So I just thought their art was so cool. I actually ordered a few prints that are like up in my house, and I just thought I hadn't really seen a comedy album that had that kind of like hodgepodge, kind of really weird and eclectic, surreal like combination of things on it. So I thought it'd be cool to I wanted it in space. I was like inspired by the Sledgehammer music video by Peter Gabriel. It's all in claymation. It's sick. You should honestly watch it. It's like a visual like smorgasbord of like craziness. And so there's like a still of like his claymation head in space. So I thought, well, that would be kind of cool. Then we could pepper in some other stuff. And then like it was already being in space. So I was like, all right, so maybe that should have something to do with like the title. And then I guess like the term negative space is like an art term that is like thrown around. It means like the absence of like detail or drawing or just emptiness. And it also relates to like comedy being like complaining for the most part, a bit of negativity. And most of my comedy is just complaining about.
I think that's what
just the day-to-day like frustrating bullshit of life. You know?
I mean, that's what most of us get a lot of our material about. So it makes a lot of sense.
And like, you know, places that comedy happens are called rooms, which is a space. So I felt like it tied together, you know. It's like the room itself.
It's
is
so many
space,
layers to it.
But
I love it.
In outer space, I was like, oh, okay, this is like 360 degree connective. You know, I was thinking of since it was at the Diving Bell. I thought it'd be cool to call it Live at the Dive. I thought that would be cute. Or also, there's a joke about it that's about a joke in it about potato salad. So I was like, maybe the potato salad EP, and it could be me eating like a bowl of potato salad. I thought that would all be kind of fun, but once I got negative space, I was like,
yeah, that's it.
I think that's like the one I like the most for
it's
sure.
a beautiful, beautiful cover, and I love the title. I can't even imagine trying to decide all of that. I would kill myself trying to.
It's like ever since I was a kid, seeing like 90s rock band cover art, you know, like just being like, oh, it'd be so cool to like come up with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Know? I feel like, I mean, I might be generalizing, but a lot of comedy albums that I see, there's very little thought in the cover. Like, it's like the silhouette of a guy on a microphone, and like it's like, and the weird, like that's the like the general theme. So I like when I see something out of the box.
Did you like fantasize about like what the album's gonna look like and like the name for a while?
Full on, like. It's been like a dream to be able to pick, like make those creative decisions, like have control over like every little step of an album. And Howl and Roar is so awesome. They literally let you do that. Yeah. You know, they're like, the material is up to you. The art is up to you. Like they let me find an artist to put that together. You know, they put that on us. Yeah. They also have like a bit of a team that can do it with you, but when I pitched them like, this is what I think I want to do. They were like, all good, go ahead.
Yeah, Howl and Roar. So like a few of our friends have done some recordings for them. It's really, really cool.
They're the best, honestly. Yeah. And like my album's submitted for a Juno now.
Are you serious?
They did it for us.
Oh my God.
They literally did it for us.
That is so cool.
They're the best. Alice and Dora is the coolest rock and roll. Like
if you win, like if you're nominated.
If I'm nominated,
if you're nominated, I will
lose
faint
my mind.
for you.
I know.
Do you get to go to the Junos if you're nominated?
I feel like hopefully, right? Like I would go, even if it was the kind of thing where they had like a travel budget and it cost me like a little bit more than what they gave me. I would still go, but it's so close. Like it's in Toronto. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
most of the time it's in, but I feel like they've done the show in other cities.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could be so wrong about that. I don't
should have done our
really
research.
If it's in any other place besides Toronto, it's too expensive to go.
Yeah, it's in Vancouver. Like, sorry.
Well, I wanted you on this episode because look at the face. Because you're so. One, I've wanted to say the story on my podcast for a while. It's a story that I've said before. I've said it on stage, and I think it's funny, and it's 100% true. And I wanted you on because you're very open and honest about your sexcapades or your like sex in general, and it's so fun and interesting to talk to you about that.
I do talk about finger fucking on stage.
Yes.
Not everybody does that.
Not everyone does that.
Not everyone wants to put the mental image in their audience's brain.
Yeah.
But here I go.
You also have a newer joke about your partner and you fucking and how you needed to take the plan B after or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to say, but anyways, you do talk about sex.
Well, that's like a joke. It's about his allergies. Well, as opposed to like more of a storytelling joke, like this one is completely, it's like this much fact and then a ton of embellishment. Because he's allergic to like a million different foods. So the joke is like, basically, he's allergic to pea protein. And so every time I squirt, he almost dies. And that some people need plan B after sex. We need an EpiPen.
Yeah. That's a great joke.
I think it's funny.
That's a really great joke.
Because I feel like it takes a second for me to be like, pea protein. Oh, because squirt is piss. Allegedly.
Yes.
Sure smells like it sometimes.
Yeah. I think they proved it was.
It's whatever's in there.
Yeah.
Get it out. Clean. It's spring cleaning.
So,
Lord.
when was, you had a slut phase? Have you had a slut phase?
On and off for most of my life.
When was your first slut phase? Is it horror phase, slut phase? What's the most like? It doesn't matter.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's per se like a phase. The fuck are you laughing at over there, Fernando? You wish you had a slut face, bitch. No, okay. I'm sure you have. You're very cute. Okay. Like even when I was kind of like hitting puberty and like in high school and stuff, like I would kind of like see people around here and there and be like, ooh, they're cute, and we would kind of like hook up. So you know, trauma, traumatizing. But like the first guy I ever made out with, I was bad at it, you know, like.
Okay, yeah.
But I figured it out, you know. I got better at that as time went on. So like, yeah, I kind of started in my teens and stuff, and then I had like my first like actual boyfriend in high school. And then that was when, like, I guess I wouldn't consider that like the slut era, because I was like in a monogamous relationship. But then like, yeah, I don't know, because I've gone like, if I'm not in a relationship, then I'm usually like kind of have my wandering eye, like that person's cute, I want to talk to them, see where that goes. And I've also like, I've been monogamous, I've been polyamorous, so I've even had like somewhat slutty phases like within relationships, which is really cool, honestly. Like I'm happy I had that time in my life.
I mean, you've been very open about being polyamorous. And when did you really come to terms with like you wanted to have that type of relationship?
Well, I guess because I'm bi.
Yeah.
So and this is not on purpose, but I usually date dudes. Like they're just there, you know? They're just there.
We say yes often.
We say, yeah. There you go. So I've been in a couple of like relationships with men where I've been like, well, I want to kind of act on like exploring my side with people who aren't men. Yeah. You know? And I realized that when I was in my like high school relationship, I think like I was at a party and I was drunk. There was another girl who was drunk, and we kind of ended up making out. And then when I told him, he got really upset, and I was like, oh, man, okay, like, this is not for me then, because, like, I don't want to feel that bad about doing something like this. So something I sought out in my other relationships was that kind of openness. Yeah. And I know that some people find it kind of problematic when you're in a hetero-ish relationship. That's like a dude and whatever the fuck I am, you know. And like you're like, oh, it's not cheating if it's girls. Like some people think that's kind of like problematic and objectifying. But I think it's more so in my case was just like, well, I have like the type of like I don't need more dudes. Yeah, I got one. You don't need to load up on more dudes. Yeah, exactly. But like, I would like to be able to go on dates with girls. I would like to be able to keep my options open in that regard, because that's not something that I have kind of locked down. So that's worked in a couple of relationships that I've had. Okay. So I feel like I've had that chance to explore you know? That. But even then, that wasn't necessarily always polyamorous. No. You know, but it was just like open. Okay. But then like polyamorous people tend to explore romantic relationships in like the multitudes. Yeah. So like, that's interesting. Have you had a partner and had another partner? Yeah. 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 So there was one partner that I had, and I had another person that I was seeing like once a week as well. Okay. And that was really cool. By the time the main like relationship ended, there was a period where even though I didn't have like what's called a primary partner, like I didn't have a boyfriend, I was still seeing that other person. Okay. And then I had started seeing 2 other people. Oh, wow. But I was like, oh, right. Like, we're really getting into gear. Yeah. So
must have been busy. That seems...
I mean, am I busy? What do I do? You know, I'm not doing anything. I got time. But it was cool. You know, I got to go on some cool dates. And that's kind of at this point, I don't want to say it's like behind me now, but it's definitely like I found my current partner and our relationship is a lot more kind of like blissfully domestic. And I feel like because I've had my experience with like seeing what I like and experimenting and having fun and not taking things too seriously, like this is very like comfortable and sweet, and I don't really see the need for like adding more, you know? So I'm happy to like have just gotten to try all these things. There's so much like weird pressure and like hostility towards trying out what works for you.
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
There shouldn't be at all. Not at all, because like
not everyone knows what they want right away.
Yeah.
Not everyone's born.
And even when you're, I think not enough people give it that thought. They're like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to do this, so I'll settle with this. It's just like, no, like
my parents want me to get married. So I guess I'll just get married and never do anything else.
And it's it should be explored, questioned. Like my relationship right now is very monogamous, but I have like during this process been like, is this what I want or should be? Like, should I be exploring? When I was more single, I always thought like maybe that would be a possibility, because, you know, I can't really, I think it's putting a lot of pressure on a person. Like, okay, I'm monogamous. You're going to all my needs will be filled with this one person.
Yeah.
And I think you should like think about it or explore. And I'm really happy that, I mean, your relationship, you feel like is good.
I do. It really was a bit of a 180, because when I first started dating him, I did have like more people in my life, but then it just wasn't making sense like for the relationship, and also my needs changed. Like my needs, I just adapted to what I was feeling and what I wanted, and listened to myself, and then I wound up where I am right now. And I think that that's what everyone kind of needs to do.
They definitely need to do that. And again, not enough people
Your needs are allowed to change, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you could be with this partner a few years from now and be like, oh, well, I need something more. This needs to change.
Or
and
like we're in a new place and there's a lot of different stuff to try. You know, that conversation can happen.
It should happen.
Not out of the realm
for
of
sure.
possibility.
And I think that's where people like get stuck and unhappy, and like they feel, I don't know, they don't want to, they're worried about having, when you start that conversation from the beginning and having that open, honest discussion, then I feel like you end up in a healthier place for sure.
Yeah, but some people don't want to hear it. Sometimes that relationship could really end shit.
Yeah.
Or that conversation could end the relationship.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, for sure.
That is the case with some things. So I understand why people are a little intimidated, you know, but then that says something about the relationship as it stands, right?
Yeah.
If a conversation can end it.
Yeah, then, they're not for you.
Relationships are real tricky.
They're very, very tricky. Yes, Zach.
I have a question for Lucy.
Okay.
Me?
So when you were like dating 3 people at the same time, seeing them, how did you like manage your time?
I love that.
Because I have one partner right now, and I've technically been in a polyamorous relationship for a month, but like it was basically the transition period between partners. So I never really had never been in a polyamorous relationship truly. So how do you manage your time? Like, is there like with the primary partner? Oh no, I know like for sure like they're like if I they're like my go-to, but like I let these people reach out to me. Like how do you categorize it?
A lot of people highly recommend a Google Calendar.
Turns out an agenda will
Write
help.
that shit down.
Take appointments for real.
I think for the most part, it's just like prioritizing the people in your life realistically. So if you have a primary and then you have a few secondary people, your primary is probably the person you're going to see several times a week. And then the other secondary people, some of them are going to have partners of their own. Some of them aren't. You know, the people who are single or like, I don't know, is there a single? I don't know why I was like, what's the polyamorous term? I'm like, single's fine. They're unattached. Unattached shade. Yeah, untethered. Oh my God. So I feel like if you're if you're seeing someone who's single and you have a partner, you're gonna see that person more often than you are a person who's poly who also has a partner, because then you're both prioritizing a whole like person.
Yeah.
You know, like whereas if you're dating someone who's just like hanging out and not really like committed to another human being, you're probably going to see them more often. And then like it's just about, you know,
it's about communicating too. Like if your primary partner doesn't feel like you're spending enough time with them, and like there's this open dialogue, I think, with everyone, right? From what I gather.
Yeah, I think the one thing that's really cool about polyamory is that if you're not getting something from a relationship, it's not the end of the relationship. You can get that from someone else, and as long as everyone's kind of cool with that and is in some capacity like aware of that, I don't think it would be cute to sit down with someone and be like, this is what I'm getting from you. Because I'm not getting it from the other person. This is what I'm not getting from you. And I'm getting it from them. I'm like, that sounds crazy.
Sounds like a business thing.
Like a horrible, like a pyramid scheme business. Yeah, I'm going to recruit more people in my polyamorous relationship. And then they're going to recruit 2 more people.
Oh, that's so
Imagine.
funny.
Oh, man. But yeah, I think finding a nice way to establish that, like, hey, this person is super outdoorsy. And my partner at home fucking hates the outdoors. And I'm going to instead of making that one person do all this outdoorsy shit, you could have like a partner that you just have that with and whatever other nice things you see in them. You know, I think that is the thing that I find the most
It's really interesting and cool. I like that a lot. Yeah, that is cool. So you and I, similarly, I'm not.
We're both blonde.
we started dating our partners around the same time. I would say about a year ago or so.
Yeah.
How did you meet your partner?
Met them through at a friend's birthday party.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh,
I know, right?
classic.
That's a good like having a mutual.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was kind of I had just gotten out of a relationship. And I really did swear off like a committed relationship because I was like, I can't go through another breakup ever again. But like, of course, it's easy to say that when you just
was it a hard breakup? Like,
yeah, it was pretty rough, honestly. Like, I gotta get better at this shit. I have a tendency to go like, we're broken up, but let's spend time together. But like. We're broken up, but like, ooh, I need a ride somewhere. Like, I just need to get better at like being like, we're broken up, and here's endless amounts of space.
Yes,
you know,
that you need and they need, but it's really hard, especially if you're used to spending a lot of time together and you're attached and it's
you're
just
like, oh, what's the worst that could happen? You know, like we're still friends, like we still like each other to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But then it's a bad habit I have where I'm like, if I ask them to come hang, the odds are good that they'll show up, even though they, in their own best interest, should choose not to. I know the decision is usually going to end up like, oh, I guess I'll just go hang out with Lucy because they won't. I'm the worst. Like, I hate it. It's not good, but it's so easy to justify in your head where you're like, well, you know, like that little fucking little whiny voice that's like, that's well, you just have it. You know,
It's like it's ideal. It's nice when you can be friends with an ex because you have built sort of a friendship. Like there's something there, but
they know too much.
They know a lot, and like, but at the same time, it really is tricky.
They know too much. You gotta keep the enemies close.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, so they know a lot. So like it's like it would be nice, like you could see like this fantasy of a friendship.
Yeah.
You can kind of see it, but it's really, really, really hard to get there. And what you don't realize is like you need time to heal.
Yeah.
And you need space, and you need to take baby steps.
Yeah, you
for
really
sure.
do.
Right,
and
Fernando?
it's so easy. Pay attention, Fernando.
Yeah, Fernando
I
and
actually am.
yeah,
Okay, great.
Fernando and I used to date, and we went through that like whole thing.
Escándalo.
Yes, we went, but this was like 6 years ago now. So we dated
Okay.
for a bit. not like a
And now
lot.
he just like lives at your house.
He did not live in my house. No. That would have been hard to like.
But he does now.
He does live at my house.
Do people on the podcast
Yeah,
not
he
know
says
that?
unfortunately.
Great rent, but roommates.
Yeah. So yes, we dated for a bit, and like I did see a potential of having a friendship. Like I really liked. Like we got along very well, and it's just like the romantic side was just not there from the beginning. But we kind of like we're like, oh, maybe we could make this work, and then so we started like I think it was baby steps. Like we started spending time together, and like it was hard, but eventually we got to the point where like okay, we could be friends.
We'll be pals.
Yeah, and
That's
I
good.
did a lot of therapy too, talking about him
He
being
owes
like.
that you did you pay for the therapy?
She gets free graphic design.
Yeah, so he's paid.
Good. Graphic design is a currency in this town, right?
It
Very
is
valuable.
a currency. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I'm sorry, Fernando. I save so much money.
You got-
I save so
That
much
money
money.
that you're not gonna see in your lifetime.
do you guys think about that sometimes? Like how many therapists know about you? Like
How many-
I've never been to therapy in my
That's-
entire life,
that's
but
a
like there's
good-
already therapists who've already downloaded information about me and know what
Yeah.
I need to hear and like say.
Yeah.
So like let me just go find it like one of my ex's like therapists because they already know my shit.
Yeah. I haven't thought about it, but that's a good question. I bet a lot. I
I don't
bet.
think any of my exes have gone to therapy, frankly.
I
Oh,
mean,
you haven't had a good relationship then.
I have like one ex that I'm friends with. I don't
Yeah.
know if he went to therapy. I'll ask. Let me just get my phone. And be like, yo.
yeah, that's a really good question. I know that like my family members therapists have heard my name probably.
Your family members
Family
have.
goes to therapy.
My family members therapists. Yes.
Wow.
Like my sister's therapist for sure.
That's insane.
Why is that insane? Like
My-
I'm part of their lives. Like
No.
like I talk to my therapist about like positive things as well as negative things. So, but I'm sure my sister's therapists have heard negative things about me.
Wow.
Like,
I love how
Abby's
shocked you.
too nice and too beautiful.
Too nice.
I hate
Abby's
her.
such an asshole. Yeah. Is there anything that you regret about your dating life, like being single? Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Just did like, well, okay. I would have quit dating apps way sooner.
Oh, same.
Like,
same.
I really wish I literally never bothered because I
Yeah.
can't think of like that many connections that I look back on with that much, like, I don't know,
It,
good feelings.
it wasn't quality.
No.
No.
And I was just like, I really wish that in those times of boredom, I didn't just like try to Google free dick, you know? Like, I just wish I hung out with my friends instead.
It's true.
And I find that once
Google free
I had like an epiphany during a hookup that I just was like doing but not enjoying. And I was like, this is what I'm doing with my time? Like,
Yeah.
what? And then after that, I felt bad because I super ghosted the guy. He must have no idea. But luckily, he's a fan of the podcast, so now he gets an update. But I wish that I, instead of ever using like dating apps to meet people, I just went to cool stuff and like
Yeah.
had an eye on the room and
For
like
sure.
would just like politely speak to people I thought were interesting and like see if I could get a decent conversation going enough to like get their number. That's what I wish I'd done my whole life because it works very well.
It does work
It
for
works
sure.
so well.
Knowing people before you like just like talking to someone platonically, like just
Yeah.
like in a very neutral environment, and like it builds, I don't know, it's so much better.
Makes you seem like a
So
human
much
being,
better.
right?
Yeah.
It makes you feel like
Yeah.
almost
I
normal.
feel really old because it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
This is
it's
delete the apps. They're
Just
all shit.
They-
Okay,
I mean-
Hinge has, I think, the hottest people on them.
really
Montreal, just look outside.
Oh, it's true. Okay, when I moved to this city, I swear to God, in Toronto, I always felt like a fucking 6.5. Because people
Why?
are so like, I don't know, because people are really, really obsessed with like clout and what they think they should like. So like everyone's like, you've got to have like the perfect physique and you have to have the coolest clothes and you have to have the this and the that. And so like on the sidewalk, it's like you don't exist. I feel like in a lot of ways, unless you are that like Instagram perfect looking girl. And then it's like, oh my God, like not that I'm like, oh, everyone treats that person so well. I don't know what it's like to be that person.
Yeah.
But like I felt super invisible and I thought it was like whatever. And like, you know, in and out of the dating apps, when I actually talking to people, I would get like a compliment here and there. But like walking the streets of Montreal, when I got catcalled by hot people, I was like, this is the dream. This is the city that I was meant to come to.
Yes, yeah.
I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is awesome.
I would have thought Montreal would have been like the similar. I don't know. Like, I don't feel like an uggo when I walk around the streets of Montreal, but I don't know what it like. I can't compare the two cities because I've never lived there.
It's like people in Montreal are, I guess, I don't know, like they see a hot person.
Yeah.
They're not worried about like how it's gonna make them look. If you know, like I always felt very like, I don't know. Just like we should be opposed to like the male gaze, I guess. But like when I started feeling just like walking the streets of Montreal, I had like a more of a presence.
Yeah.
You know, and that made
That's
me
good.
feel really nice.
So Montreal is a good city to delete Tinder for sure because you can find
Just go to
a lot of
cool-
beautiful people.
Go to some cool events or places.
Yeah.
You know, and it could even be like a divey place. But
Yeah.
like if you're, I just find like socializing in Montreal is a really great way to like meet hotties. And I think that it do be true. And I think that like figuring out if someone sucks or not before you have sex with them
for
is
sure.
It's like
For
the
sure.
tea. It's
Yeah.
the best. It's
Yeah.
like the 10 out of 10 recommend.
Yeah.
Really though.
Making sure they don't suck for
Before
because when you meet them on Tinder, I mean, I used to love like when I was in my hoe phase, like I used to love just like there was at one point I knew I was just doing it for the dick. I knew it was like I knew this person's garbage. I don't care. I'm just doing like it was just like my mindset. I think that's the only reason you use those apps at this point. It's just like don't go in with like any expectation or like want a relation. No, this is not what it's for. Like quality, go out meet someone like organically. I think for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And like I have a bad habit of like thinking I just want physical attention. But like that's the person I'm trying to be, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking go out and I'm gonna fucking I'm just gonna fucking find hot guys in the app and I'm not gonna care and I'm just gonna go one day to the next, like, you know, live in the moment. And then I just get like I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna talk to that person again. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like it's just like I just had to start being honest with myself and being like that.
You need
doesn't
something
have,
more.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
you
we
know?
all sort of do. It just depends on where you are in life, I guess.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. I'm always just like, well, that seems like a waste of time, like especially like a one night stand sort of thing. Like I had to actually listen to the voice in my head that was saying like, why are we doing this? We don't want this. This is like not cute, you know, for
I've had
us.
a couple moments like that besides smelly guy or whatever where you're just I'm just like what the fuck, like in the midst of it all it's just like this is so dumb, this is so dumb,
This is a waste of my time. I could be in bed by myself. Which is honestly being alone in an apartment that you live in is like heaven. And then be time where there have been times where I've like, and especially during the pandemic, it was like the only place to have a fucking date is at your house.
Yeah.
And I've been living alone for my whole time in Montreal, except for like right now. And then like, so I'd be like, well, I guess just like come over and hang out and see where it goes. And when you realize as soon as you open the door that you don't like someone.
Yeah. Oh, and then you're.
It's hell.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like, what can I do to get this person to
I've
leave?
had that a few, especially like I lived alone for a long time too, and usually I would like attract people that had roommates or live with their parents. So like it was like, yeah, I guess you're coming here, and then it was just like I'm stuck with the person for like
You
longer than
find
you want to.
Any excuse. I had called my friend while this guy was in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And he's a fan of the podcast. So I had my friend I called her. I was like, you got to call me and you got to fake some fucking accident like right now, you know? Ringer on. You have to have the ringer on if you're going to pull this. There's no vibrate because they aren't going to hear it and they're going to assume you're lying.
Yeah.
And like the Academy Award goes to like, oh my God, my friend was on her bike and got hit by a car. I got an Uber to the hospital. I'm ordering the Uber right now, so you should go.
Yeah.
Before the Uber gets here.
Yeah, yeah.
So that you don't see me
Yeah.
wait for a fake Uber. Like, oh God.
Oh,
It's these kinds of things that I'm so relieved to be done with. Because like,
Oh yeah.
the nice thing about being in a more monogamous relationship, and I feel like a monogamous relationship is a good place to be in if you feel like your partner actually just meets your needs.
Yeah.
You're just like, they got it all. They got it all figured out. This
You're
is awesome.
content. You're happy. Yeah.
I don't think I want to date ever again for
Ever
the rest of
again.
my life.
No.
Like, oh my God, it's just like
I've said
or
that.
I would be really strict.
Yeah.
You know? Like
Oh, yeah.
really just like not having it with most of these
Yeah, I said
goddamn
that
people.
in the past like year or so since like dating my boyfriend. That is like, if this ends, I will never date again.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I
I
will
will never let
never-
anything get this serious. I think it would be hard. I'll say something nice. I think it would be so hard for me to find someone as good as my partner right now. Like it would be nearly impossible.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
that's
like
so
it would be, I'd be like,
Yeah,
good luck.
yeah. I mean, the bar is higher now, which is good. It's good. You like you
Yeah.
learn and you grow, and like you're just like, this is the standard now. And
Yeah,
that's-
exactly.
Where like the standard was bad before for me, was terrible.
Yeah.
The bar was on the ground.
Don't trip on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel you. And I'm like, I don't know why it was ever down there. I think it was because you and I are like pretty much the same age. And
I'm way older than you.
but
Not
like
way,
not
but-
by that much.
Yeah.
Like we're definitely like millennial.
Yes,
like
yeah.
we went to high school in like the same culture.
Yes.
So this culture was very much like, I feel like in a weird space of like, yeah, party, have all this crazy sex, life
Yeah.
is awesome.
Yeah.
But then there was also like, I don't know, it was just a weird time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, it wasn't necessarily about find what works for you. It was
Yeah.
like, just
experience things like to the
whether you want
fullest.
to or not, you
Yeah.
know. And it took a long time for me to realize that was not what I really wanted, you know. And like,
yeah.
I think that if I were to be single again, I would probably also be like doing the similar thing that I was doing before, where I was like dating but not seriously, and just like only dating people whose company I really enjoyed
Yeah.
and they had something unique to offer, you know, money. And then like, yeah, and like not taking things too seriously, and also like being open, but also I can't with like with some of the people, you know, like they're just a lot.
Yeah.
Some of the people are just a lot.
They are a lot.
Yeah.
They are a lot. This is a big question. How do you feel about dating comedians or sleeping with comedians?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
This guy's unfunny, right?
You know, I wouldn't recommend it. I know it's something. No, I'm gonna be honest with you. I would recommend dating someone who brings something different
Yeah.
into your life than what you already have going on. And I know you're dating a comic. That's not be
fine.
like, that's gotta end. Abby, House of Stone, you know?
I mean,
yeah, that's what the podcast. I was like, is it Stone of House? 'Cause that's the order of the last name. But also, this is something that I find happens to a lot of people when they first start doing stand-up is they date a bunch of comedians right away and they end up being really, really disappointed.
okay. Yeah.
It's true though.
Yeah.
And it's because you're so surrounded by a lot of people kind of in your age range, people who like, it's like a very fancy, shiny world, you know, at first.
Yeah.
And for especially like women and femmes in comedy, you got a bunch of dudes being super nice to you right
Yeah.
away. And you're like, wow, I'm special. It's like they know that you just aren't, you don't hate them yet.
Yeah.
Like it really is that, you know?
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
It's true. And I think that that's why, because I started comedy in Toronto, I had the exact same thing. I was like, boys are nice. And then it's like, not for long. And then like when I moved to Montreal, I had gotten that out of the way. So I was just entering these environments with a very like personable attitude, like just trying to be nice and like meet as many people as possible and like integrate myself. And I was like, you can try to be like, oh, you're new to comedy, huh? Be like, bitch, I'm not.
Yeah,
I've been doing
yeah.
this longer than you.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So I felt like my introduction to comedy in Montreal was a lot smoother than my introduction in comedy in Toronto, which was when I was like super brand new.
And you were very young when you started comedy.
19 years
So
old.
young.
Little baby.
I mean, I'm so jealous that you started so early. I mean, that's really,
stupid.
really cool.
Stupid idiot.
A
That was
stupid
cute and That was
idiot.
funny.
How old are you now?
I'm 29.
Oh, you've been doing for like a decade.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Wait, am I 29? Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's like I have an October birthday, and I started comedy 2 weeks before my 20th. So it's 9 years.
Okay.
But I can see why 20, like the
yeah,
numbers
yeah,
add
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you started so young. What made you get into it?
So I was really, when I graduated high scholl, my interests were sort of split between wanting to act and wanting to write. So I thought it would be cool to write movies, but I was also like, I kind of want to be in my movies. And like when I found a program that was gonna kind of like help me do both, like work on both skill sets, I got really excited. It was a comedy program at Humber.
Yeah.
And then they have a stand-up comedy class that they make you take. And I kind of just, I had done stand-up at 17 once as like
Oh,
a
really?
bucket list thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was cute. It was cute. I
How
wish
was
I
that
had
first set? Like
it was,
17.
I thought, listen, we'll never know how I actually did.
Yes.
I thought I did great. I thought I did great. And that's not to say like I changed comedy forever, but I had my jokes. I told my jokes the way they were supposed to be told,
Yeah.
you know? And then people responded and I was like, all right, thank you. Like that was
Yeah.
kind of it, you know? It's
Yeah.
like you're at like maybe a kindergartner's graduation class and you're like,
Yeah.
good for them. They
Yeah,
did this
yeah.
without shitting their pants. You know, they got the little fake diploma. They did a great job. So that's kind of how I feel about my first stand-up set. When I was like taking this program,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I can write and perform. Like this is both of
Yeah.
those skills that
Meshed
I kind
together.
of want to.
Yeah. For
and
sure.
then I got a little discouraged by the program. I wasn't enjoying it. I'll be real with you. I got like sexually assaulted by one of my classmates.
Oh, I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
like in my first I think my second month.
Oh
That's-
God.
Yeah,
Intense.
and so I got really like depressed and fucked up, and then I started fucking up in school, and I was also being kind of like bullied by my classmates because I was acting super fucking weird
Yeah, of
because
course.
I'd been
No
sexually
kidding.
assaulted
No
by one of my
kidding.
classmates.
Yeah.
Right. So I ended up dropping out, but I stuck with stand up, and then like things after that were kind of rough because I was in bars all the time. I had like a shitty part-time job at Smokes Poutine, so I had money, and I was living with
Yeah.
my dad, so I was spending a lot of my money on like booze and just like getting way too drunk at shows and like
Yeah.
acting out because I was kind of like going through it, you know? So like, yeah, I think my comedy start was a little bumpy,
Yeah.
but I'm happy with where things are going. You
Yeah.
know? It took some time to really figure out what the fuck was going on with me at that time. But now that I
Oh,
like,
of course. You were so
No.
young
Yeah.
and like I mean, anyone going through that experience is very confusing and fucking hard. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, so
It's so confusing.
It's-
like, yeah, and I was in therapy, but it's like I didn't acknowledge that what had happened was like a big enough deal to even like bring up. You know?
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, cool. Like, I'll talk about other stuff that's important. This is just like some guy I was dating, like, you know, being like, we're broken up now. You know, he sucked. It's a
Yeah.
good thing we're broken up. But like,
yeah.
looking back, I was like, it's like, oh, I was like acting fucked because like I had some shit going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So therapy helped you move through it, and I'm guessing.
Oh, but like
time-
years later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
years later.
So
okay.
now, like, I feel like I have much better handle on my consumption of alcohol.
Yes.
And also, like, on my impulsive actions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it took a lot of, like, growing up as a comic and then growing up as a person.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, all right, I think I got it handled. Like, I
Yeah.
think I know how to be a comedian now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've been at it for, like you said, 9 years.
Almost a decade.
Yeah, almost a decade. And you this past summer you performed at Just for Laughs. You recorded at Just for. How was that experience? I
Honestly-
remember like my picture. I remember seeing you on the what is the 2-level thing when we were watching Trixie Mattel.
The rich people.
Yeah, the rich people
Oh, man.
thing. And I was like,
The
Lucy is living it up using their Just for Last pass.
Not even how I got that.
No?
Okay, so the free Trixie Mattel concert at Place des Arts was sick.
Yeah.
One of my best Judies, my friend Laurence, I posted like on my way to the Trixie Mattel concert, and he was like, I have an extra VIP pass. Do you want to come sit with me? My friend flaked on me. And I was like,
You
no, I'm okay. I'll just stand. We had our own like little bar, and then
Yeah.
Trixie kept referring to us as the rich people, and I was like, today I am.
Today
I'm the
you
rich
are.
people today.
Yeah, yeah.
And then later that same night, I was at the DoubleTree,
Yeah.
and I saw Trixie like out of drag, like
Yeah.
at a table looking completely exhausted.
Yeah.
And I saw Tran, I went to her and I went and said hi. She's like, oh, hey, how's it going? By the way, I'm like in a meeting right now. I was like, oh, I'll leave you alone. And then I was like, should I say hi to Trixie Mattel? And she's like, yes, you should. I was like,
Yeah.
no, but I'm a dork. She's like, do it.
I know. I mean, spending time at the festival in that area is so intimidating.
Terrifying. Kill me.
Terrifying.
But I got a high five from Trixie Mattel.
Oh my god.
My life will never
so
be
jealous.
the same. Never be the same.
Never be the same. But you were killing the festival this year.
I had a blast.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I had a ton of anxiety being in those kind of green rooms. I
Yeah.
was just like, you know, when someone starts talking to you and you just start talking back and you don't really know what you're saying, but you're gonna like, I'm gonna pretend this is words that make sense because you have a bit of anxiety,
Yeah,
you're nervous.
yeah.
You're like,
For
and
sure.
yeah, I agree with you, but I also feel a different way about
Yeah.
that. And then you're just still talking and you're like, this person wants to talk to anyone else.
Yeah, yeah.
But honestly, like, I feel like looking back on it, I did actually learn from that kind of like anxiety that I was having.
What
So,
did you learn? Like,
well, just like how to be a little bit more comfortable
Yes.
and like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
comfortable in my own skin in like a high pressure environment. Cause like I got into the festival.
yeah,
And that
absolutely.
was scary too.
That's so like,
but I like,
yeah,
you know, before going on stage for like the showcasing, I
Mm-hmm.
was like freaking out, but I was like, okay, but you deserve this.
yes, you've earned this.
Yeah, exactly. And you do well at comedy when this
Yeah.
isn't scary.
Yeah, this is
So
a set.
just-
This is just a set.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's those are very valuable things to learn.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. How
know.
was your audition?
My showcase?
Yeah, your showcase.
was
yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't
It was
say
at the Nest, right? The Comedy Nest.
I had to follow fucking Harrison. I know, right? I was like, God damn it. All right, fine.
Just
Yeah.
speak more than 5 words a minute. And
Yeah.
You got them.
I was like, no one's going to confuse us for each other. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, like Harrison's going to be Harrison. And I got to just be completely different. Like, I just got to.
mean, you're Lucy Gervais. You are different than Harrison.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But like I have a much bigger energy, you know. I like move around a lot. I like I've gotten to this habit doing stand up and I really like it where I do my punchlines like on a fucking 90-degree angle. I just like it's just I don't know. I'm like I think this is hilarious. Like,
Yeah, it
just
is
to
fun.
punch it by just like bringing my whole body like contortionizing. But yeah. So it was a lot of fun. I feel like my introductory jokes didn't quite grab them, but I was like, just you got funny fucking jokes in this set.
Yeah.
Just get to them and hit them hard. And then I think by the time I closed, that I closed pretty strong.
Oh, amazing.
So, I mean,
Amazing.
big thing about doing stand up when you're on the stage, adapting what
the-
you have decided to do for your material
Yeah.
to what is happening in front of you
Oh, yeah.
is a skill, like thinking on your
Key,
feet.
For sure.
So if your first couple jokes don't go over as strongly as you hope, being able to be like, well, guess what? The next ones will, or
Yeah.
even better, or different, or something.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
I find this very useful for hosting too.
Oh, absolutely.
Because like sometimes when I'm on stage, I just say something stupid and it doesn't work. And
Yeah.
if you can find a way to like turn that into a laugh,
Yeah.
it's like it almost feels like it was on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And it's such a skill, and I've seen you do it very well.
Oh my God,
Very, very
stop.
well. So
blushing.
yeah, well, congratulations on all your success in the past.
Thank
I mean,
you.
10 years or whatever, almost a
Whatever.
decade. Yeah.
Feels like 30, but hey.
We do have to wrap up. So that was the 45-minute. That was the 50.
I forgot.
Oh,
The
okay. So we do
conversation
have-
was so
Wow.
flowing and so engaging. I completely forgot.
Because we're friends.
So we do definitely have to wrap up.
Yeah.
I always end the show or the recording with 2 questions. And I feel like you addressed one of the questions already, as what is one of the hardest things you've ever been through?
Oh, the sexual assault thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I have
sure.
a couple. I've been sexually assaulted like a few times. So, like, all those
Oh.
together, I guess, sure.
Yeah.
But, like, don't worry about me. I'm fine.
Yeah. You're stronger than ever. You're good.
I'm powerful. Oh, I started lifting. Anyway.
Oh yeah, we wanted to talk about that. You
Too
started.
late.
It's too late.
We talked about
We were
everything
talking
else.
about before starting like self-care and stuff, and you started exercising and lifting. Lifting looks really cool. I see it happening at the gym, and I was like, I am too scared to do that.
Okay, so I'll just say this real quick. My goal is to be able to lift 100 pounds bench press by the end of December.
Yeah.
I'm at 65.
Oh,
So
you
I'm
can
getting
do
there.
it.
Yeah.
How often are you training?
Like twice a week
Okay.
on just the bench press. I try
Okay.
to do it on opposite ends. And
Okay.
then like I try to go to the gym like 3. Try
Okay.
to. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, cool. That's
the other
amazing. The other question is, what is the thing in life that you're most passionate about?
My goodness. I gotta say cooking, man.
Cooking.
Oh.
Yeah.
I fucking like home cooked food is so important to me.
Oh, absolutely.
And I find it makes itself present in a lot of aspects of my life. So in my friendships, my family relationships, and my romantic relationships, like if they matter to me, then like sharing food or preparing food for people or having food prepared to me, it like it means so much.
Yeah,
you know?
I remember
So-
during the pandemic, you were I don't know, making content of you.
Oh yeah, I made a recipe book.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, $5, who wants it? I'm hungry.
yeah. That's amazing. That's so cool. I mean, I just love food in general. So I don't cook enough, but I have
Come
like
on
easy.
over, we'll cook
I do
together.
cook, but I have like easy meals. So like if it's longer than 5 minutes of prep, I don't want to do it. But
I don't either, but I do it
that's
because
good.
Because it's worth it.
What's your comfort meal?
Oh man, I'm a big fan of stews and whatnot, but you know what? I make a really good bolognese. Like,
Oh, wow.
and I'll tell you guys some of my secrets. Okay, so like sage and thyme, I think, are the 2 most important herbs. Gotta be easy on the sage though, it can overpower things, but thyme is really good. And then I use a tiny bit of cumin, a tiny bit of cinnamon. and the tiniest bit of balsamic vinegar.
Ooh.
You got to be really careful with the balsamic vinegar because it can just turn it into a vinegary mess, like out of nowhere. But you want it to have like that little whisper of like the balsamic at the very, very bottom, and then you of like the, I guess, the flavor profile or whatever. And then I also have a meatball recipe that is very comprehensive, and you can make it with Beyond.
We'll have you back on the podcast, and you can just teach us all how to cook. That'll be.
That would be fucking wicked. Let's get a hot plate in here.
We can get a hot plate, like chop stuff up. We won't eat on the podcast because that's horrendous to listen to audio.
That's gonna be on the Patreon.
Yeah.
Watching us eat.
A mukbang on the Patreon.
Oh God.
Well, thank you so much for being here. You are a delight. Amazing. I give everyone your handles so they know where to find you and see your content and go see your shows.
Yeah, I'm at the Lucy Gervais on Twitter, at the Lucy Gervais Show on Instagram. Please don't look for me on Facebook. I hate Facebook. I want to burn it to the ground.
Yeah.
And listen to my album, Negative Space.
Yeah.
Allegedly very good.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I want to thank the funders, the sponsors, Pentel Studio, Zach Kick, as always, Fernando. The listeners, please follow, download, subscribe, all of that jazz. You can find us on houseofstonepodcast.com for all of the links. And yeah, this was a great episode. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.